Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Psalms. We're looking at Psalm 119, verses 57 through 64. It starts off, "You, Lord, are my portion." First is that you are mine. You're for me personally. And portion, a better translation might be inheritance. You are all I want. You are more than enough. Really, one way, you are my retirement fund. You're my life savings is all in you, Lord. And I vow to keep your word, both the law and the gospel. And this vow to keep God's word, this promise, is not so much that we're able to keep it. We know that we struggle with that. And the psalmist even talks about that. But he says, I've promised because I'm in a covenant relationship with you. And he goes on to say, I have sought your face, or I have begged or pleaded for your favor, or for your face, for you to come to me, for your revelation. And I've done this according to your promise. Again, according to your word. Verse 59, I've considered my ways. And every Christian, we should reflect on how we behave, and any error or defection away from God, we must confess. So that, as he says, I've repented, I've turned my steps towards your statutes, towards your ways. And he goes on, another way to talk about this, what am I thinking about and where am I going? And as we think about the Lord's word and as we walk in that direction, we advance to a newer and more full life. And he says, I'm going to hasten and not delay to obey your word. How often do we delay in following the Lord? I mean, times that the Lord is whispering to us by his Spirit to walk in a certain way and we delay. So we should hasten to God's ways. And as he goes on, he says, the wicked, the cords of the wicked bind me. They ensnare and pull me in the wrong direction. But even though, no matter how we are bound to sin, no matter how the cords of the wicked have grasped us, he says, I have not forgotten your law because I was prepared for this, because I don't forget your Torah is actually the word there, your word. And it's God's law and his righteousness that rules, even in spite of the wickedness. And so he goes on to say, at midnight I rise. Think about that. I'm getting up in the middle of the night to give you praise for your righteous rules, your righteous law. And I am a companion, I'm a partaker with all those who fear you, all those who worship you. And what do we partake in? We're partaking in both the sufferings of walking in faith in the midst of this wicked world, but also the consolation of receiving God's blessings, of partaking in his word. And so he talks about how the earth is filled with your love. How is the earth filled with God's love? Because the Lord fills it, especially in the incarnation of the Word Jesus Christ. And it's this covenant love that God has for us that brings us into this relationship and guarantees it to us for all eternity. Hey, thanks, friends, for joining me. If you're getting something out of the Daily Plunge, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and especially share it wherever you can. Have a blessed day.